Michael's journey to Whispering Pines began with dreams of tranquility and community. After years of city living, he sought a peaceful retreat where he could enjoy nature and connect with like-minded neighbors. However, his idyllic vision quickly clashed with the reality of the Homeowners Association, led by the formidable Karen Wilkins. As the HOA president, Karen wielded her authority with an iron fist, enforcing rules that often felt more oppressive than protective. Michael's initial excitement turned to frustration when he discovered that even minor modifications to his property required her approval, and her arbitrary decisions seemed to target him personally. The conflict escalated when he dared to challenge her authority, questioning the fairness of her regulations. This confrontation ignited a series of challenges that tested Michael's resolve and sense of justice. He found himself navigating a labyrinth of bureaucratic red tape, facing intimidation tactics and isolation from neighbors who feared Karen's wrath. Yet, rather than backing down, Michael became determined to stand up against what he perceived as tyranny. His struggle transformed into a quest for empowerment, not just for himself but for others in the community who felt similarly oppressed. As tensions mounted, Michael's story evolved into a powerful narrative of resilience, highlighting the importance of standing up for one's rights in the face of unjust authority. Michael had built a successful career as a real estate investor, leveraging his keen eye for potential and a knack for identifying undervalued properties. His recent move to Whispering Pines was a strategic decision aimed at expanding his portfolio while embracing a lifestyle that aligned with his values. He envisioned transforming his new property into a charming retreat that would attract both short-term renters and long-term residents seeking a peaceful escape. Michael's investment strategy focused on enhancing the property's appeal through thoughtful renovations and sustainable practices, ensuring it would stand out in the competitive market. However, as he delved deeper into the community, he quickly realized that the Homeowners Association fees and amenities played a crucial role in his decision-making process. The HOA fees, while initially seen as a necessary expense for maintaining the neighborhood's aesthetic and services, soon became a point of contention. Michael understood that these fees contributed to the upkeep of shared amenities like the pool, clubhouse, and landscaped gardens, which were attractive selling points for potential renters. Yet, he also felt the weight of the restrictions imposed by the HOA, which could hinder his plans for property improvements. This duality of benefits and limitations shaped Michael's approach, compelling him to navigate the complexities of community living while striving to achieve his investment goals in Whispering Pines. Michael's first encounter with Karen Wilkins was a stark introduction to the rigid world of the Whispering Pines Homeowners Association. Karen, with her meticulously styled hair and sharp business attire, exuded an air of authority that was impossible to ignore. As the HOA president, she was known for her strict enforcement of regulations, and her demeanor was both commanding and unyielding. When Michael received a violation notice regarding the height of his lawn, he was taken aback. He had only recently moved in and was still settling into his new home. The notice felt like a swift kick to his enthusiasm, and he knew he had to address the issue directly with Karen. During their first meeting, he approached her with a mix of curiosity and apprehension, hoping for a constructive dialogue. However, Karen's tone was anything but welcoming. She spoke with a clipped precision, outlining the rules as if they were etched in stone, leaving little room for discussion or flexibility. Her unwavering stance made it clear that she viewed compliance as non-negotiable. Michael felt a growing sense of frustration as she detailed the consequences of non-compliance, emphasizing the importance of maintaining property values and community standards. This initial interaction set the stage for a contentious relationship, igniting Michael's determination to challenge the oppressive nature of the HOA and assert his rights as a homeowner. In the weeks following his initial confrontation with Karen Wilkins, Michael found himself inundated with a series of petty violations imposed by the Homeowners Association. It began with the lawn height issue, but soon escalated to include complaints about his mailbox's color, the placement of his garden gnomes, and even the type of outdoor furniture he had chosen. Each violation came with a fine, and as the notices piled up, Michael's frustration grew. The fines, initially manageable, began to accumulate, creating a financial burden that weighed heavily on his morale. Despite the mounting pressure, Michael maintained a calm demeanor, refusing to let the HOA's harassment dictate his emotional state. He understood that the fines were not just about money. They were a tactic to intimidate him into submission. Instead of reacting with anger, he chose to document each violation meticulously, viewing them as evidence of the HOA's overreach. This approach allowed him to maintain a sense of control amid the chaos. Friends and family expressed concern over the situation, but Michael remained resolute, determined to stand his ground. He believed that his calmness in the face of adversity would ultimately empower him to challenge the HOA's authority. Each fine became a stepping stone in his journey toward justice, fueling his resolve to fight back against the bureaucratic tyranny that sought to stifle his spirit. The incident that escalated Michael's conflict with the homeowners association occurred one fateful afternoon when he returned home to find his car missing from the driveway. Confused and frustrated, he quickly discovered that the HOA had ordered his vehicle to be towed due to a supposed violation of parking regulations. Michael had parked his car in front of his own home, but Karen Wilkins had deemed it an eyesore, claiming it violated the community's aesthetic standards. Furious, he made his way to the HOA office to confront Karen directly. Upon arrival, he found her seated behind her desk, exuding an air of satisfaction as she explained the situation. Michael's reaction was a mix of disbelief and anger. He couldn't fathom how the HOA could justify such an extreme measure for a minor infraction. Their conversation quickly turned heated as he questioned the fairness of the towing decision. Karen, however, remained unyielding, reiterating the rules with a tone that suggested she relished her authority. To add insult to injury, Michael learned that the towing fees, combined with the violation fines, amounted to an exorbitant sum that felt punitive rather than corrective. This incident not only drained his finances, but also deepened his resolve to challenge the HOA's oppressive tactics. Michael left the office feeling more determined than ever to fight back against the unjust treatment he had endured, vowing to reclaim his rights as a homeowner. Determined to reclaim his sense of justice, Michael dedicated himself to thoroughly researching the Homeowners Association bylaws. He spent countless evenings poring over the dense legal language, fueled by a mix of frustration and resolve. As he navigated through the pages, he meticulously highlighted sections that seemed relevant to his ongoing disputes with the HOA. His persistence paid off when he stumbled upon a provision that allowed for an HOA management buyout. This clause, buried within the bylaws, outlined a process through which homeowners could collectively purchase the management rights from the association, effectively taking control of their community. The discovery was a game-changer for Michael. It presented a strategic advantage that could shift the power dynamics in Whispering Pines. With this loophole in hand, he envisioned a path toward not only addressing his grievances, but also empowering fellow homeowners who felt similarly oppressed by Karen Wilkins and her authoritarian rule. Michael began to formulate a plan to rally his neighbors, sharing his findings and encouraging them to join him in pursuing the buyout. This newfound knowledge ignited a spark of hope within him, transforming his struggle against the HOA from a personal battle into a collective movement for change. Armed with the bylaws and a clear strategy, Michael felt invigorated, ready to challenge the status quo and reclaim the community spirit that Whispering Pines was meant to embody. With a loophole in the HOA bylaws fresh in his mind, Michael devised a strategic plan to acquire properties within Whispering Pines discreetly. He understood that building a coalition of supportive homeowners was essential for his management buyout initiative. To this end, he began purchasing homes in the community, focusing on properties that were undervalued or in need of renovation. His first acquisitions included a charming bungalow owned by the Johnsons, a couple who had grown weary of the HOA's overreach, and a quaint cottage belonging to Mrs. Chun, a longtime resident who felt marginalized by the association's rules. Both families were eager to support Michael's vision for a more equitable community, and they quickly became key allies in his mission. However, executing his strategy was not without its challenges. Michael faced skepticism from some neighbors who were wary of change, and he had to navigate the delicate balance of maintaining discretion while rallying support. Additionally, the HOA was vigilant, watching for any signs of dissent among homeowners. Michael often found himself in tense conversations, defending his intentions while trying to build trust. Despite these obstacles, he remained undeterred, believing that each new property acquisition brought him one step closer to empowering the community. As he continued to expand his influence, Michael felt a growing sense of purpose, knowing that he was laying the groundwork for a brighter future in Whispering Pines. As Michael continued his efforts to acquire properties in Whispering Pines, he made it a priority to engage with other residents who had been adversely affected by Karen's stringent rules. He initiated conversations with neighbors, listening intently to their experiences and frustrations. Many residents were eager to share their stories, revealing the emotional toll that Karen's leadership had taken on their lives. Mrs. Chun, for instance, recounted how her once vibrant garden had been deemed a violation, leading to fines that strained her finances and dampened her spirit. Her heartfelt narrative resonated with Michael, highlighting the personal impact of the HOA's oppressive regulations. As he spoke with more residents, a pattern of discontent emerged. Many felt stifled by Karen's authoritarian approach and longed for a more inclusive community. Michael organized informal gatherings, creating a safe space for residents to voice their grievances and share their visions for a better Whispering Pines. The growing camaraderie among neighbors fostered a sense of unity, as they realized they were not alone in their struggles. This collective discontent began to crystallize into a movement, with Michael at the helm, advocating for change. As stories of frustration and resilience circulated, the residents' resolve strengthened, and they started to see Michael not just as a neighbor, but as a leader who could help them reclaim their community from the clutches of Karen's oppressive rule. Together, they began to envision a brighter future for Whispering Pines, one built on cooperation and mutual respect. As the date of the crucial HOA meeting approached, Michael focused on acquiring the final properties needed to solidify his position for the management buyout. He strategically targeted homes owned by residents who had expressed dissatisfaction with Karen's leadership, ensuring that each acquisition would bolster the collective voice against the HOA's oppressive rules. With the support of allies like the Johnsons and Mrs. Chun, he successfully negotiated deals that not only expanded his influence, but also united the community under a common goal. With the final properties secured, Michael turned his attention to preparing for the upcoming meeting. He meticulously organized his notes, outlining key points to present to the HOA board, including the loophole he had discovered and the growing discontent among residents. He also crafted a compelling narrative that highlighted the emotional stories shared by his neighbors, aiming to resonate with both the board and the community. As the meeting day drew nearer, anticipation and tension began to build among the residents. They gathered in small groups, discussing their hopes and fears, and the atmosphere was charged with a mix of excitement and anxiety. Michael sensed the weight of their expectations, knowing that this meeting could be a turning point for Whispering Pines. He felt a profound responsibility to represent their voices and aspirations, and as he prepared to face Karen and the HOA board, he was determined to advocate for a community that deserved to thrive free from tyranny. The climactic HOA meeting unfolded in a packed community center, with residents buzzing with anticipation. Michael stood at the front, his heart racing as he prepared to unveil his plan for the management buyout. Armed with a detailed presentation, he began by outlining the oppressive rules imposed by Karen Wilkins and the emotional toll they had taken on the community. As he spoke, the room fell silent, and shocked reactions rippled through the audience. Residents exchanged glances, realizing they were not alone in their frustrations. Michael then revealed the loophole in the bylaws that allowed for a buyout, detailing how they could collectively reclaim their community. The atmosphere shifted from skepticism to hope, igniting a spark of determination among the attendees. However, the tension escalated when Karen rose to confront him, her face flushed with anger. She dismissed Michael's claims, insisting that the HOA's regulations were in place for the community's benefit. Their exchange grew heated, with Michael standing firm against her attempts to undermine his credibility. The turning point came when he confidently asserted that the residents deserved a voice in their governance, challenging Karen's authority head-on. As he laid out the support he had garnered from fellow homeowners, the crowd erupted in applause, rallying behind him. In that moment, Michael took control of the narrative, transforming the meeting into a powerful declaration of unity. The tide had turned, and the residents of Whispering Pines were ready to reclaim their community from the grip of bureaucratic tyranny. Michael's journey through the challenges of Whispering Pines serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of standing up against unjust authority. His experiences highlight how one individual's determination can inspire a community to unite and reclaim their rights. From his initial struggles with the HOA to the climactic meeting where he revealed his plan for a management buyout, Michael learned that resilience and collaboration are key in the face of adversity. His story encourages viewers to reflect on their own experiences with community governance, urging them to recognize the power they hold when they come together to advocate for change. Whether it's a small neighborhood issue or a larger systemic problem, the lessons from Michael's journey resonate universally. Empowerment begins with the courage to speak out and challenge the status quo. As we conclude this inspiring tale, we invite you to subscribe to our channel for more empowering stories that encourage you to take action in your own communities. If you found Michael's story motivating, please like and share this video with others who may benefit from it. Together, we can foster a culture of advocacy and support, reminding everyone that they are not alone in their struggles. Join us as we continue to explore stories of resilience and empowerment, and let's inspire each other to create positive change in our neighborhoods and beyond.